Well, hey there, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Petey Two Finger here with the NuX MG30. I'm going to show you how we use the control button to activate a scene, which would include or incorporate the FXloop, which I'm going to use this single patch cable here and do a little dB boost adjustment on the FXloop in the QuickTone editor. And hooking this up like this, I know it looks like this is going to harm something, just like hard shorting in between the send and return jack. So let me flip this around. Actually, I'm just going to unplug it. Here's where you need to plug the cable in to do this. Okay? So we have our outputs and then the send and return. And that's where this red cable goes. And this is the same electronically, this is the same as plugging in a pedal, but having the pedal bypassed. It's the same thing. So you can't harm anything doing this, but you do need to set this up in your NuX MG30 QuickTone patch editing software. So I'm going to go ahead and start plugging in the USB-C, my output cable, and my input cable, and I like to plug in this headphone amplifier that I built. Would you like to see my headphone amp? It's got a pick holder, so let me get rid of these picks. Here's the amp, and it cost me, I think it was $3.50 for this circuit here. The circuit is a Max 1044 chip, and it runs off a couple 18650 lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. Those are the batteries that you find in a Tesla. And I really like this amplifier to push my headphones, because my headphones are a little higher impedance. So we're going to hop over to our QuickTone software. Let me fire up the NuX MG30 and the QuickTone app. Gotta make sound effects because it's the internet. Don't worry, I won't do any voices. So here we go with QuickTone. It's right here. Hey, there it is. Alrighty, so I already have this set up. This model here, let me hit the control, we'll switch over to scene 2, and as you can see here, my volume boost is very slight. It's just nudged up maybe on the send, and the return nudged up a little bit more. So basically, when I bypass this, you see, watch the S1 and S2 up at the top of the screen, and then you can see that on S2 this is being engaged, and on S1 it's being bypassed. So when I engage this, the sound is going through this module, which is just bumping up the volume a little bit. So we can do a much more dramatic boost, and I really don't want to save this. Let's see if we can. Are we getting audio? It's muted. So hopefully you can hear that. I don't have the amp on, so we won't hear it on the mic. But I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate I'm going to have to play and then reach over here and activate it. So here it's off. I clicked it on. Off, on, off, on. And you don't have to, like, I want to see what's going on here. Off, on, yeah, it's working. You can see that that's a significant decibel boost. I prefer, when I set this up, like how it was set up originally, which, I prefer just a slight boost, but you can set it however you want it. And that is how I like to do it. You certainly could just plug in your own booster there. If you like a booster that colors your sound a little bit more, or even an overdrive or distortion pedal, you can plug whatever you want in the FXloop. But if you just want to boost the dBs a little bit, that's one way to do it. And I found, I did try using all of the booster models, like the FET boost. Forgive me for not knowing all of them. I didn't script this out, but I tried all of the EFX, the RC boost, AC boost, the tube screamer, the morning drive, the ST Singer. I tried everything that NuX has to offer in the position after the amp and cab sim, and what I found was they did boost the sound, but they changed the quality, they changed the tone, and it was enough of an audible difference for me to not want to use that. So I use the single cable method. It is a little bit goofy at first, and really the idea is to make your own custom cable. I had made this red one for a different application, and I'll tell you, it's actually a little bit long. This is, let's see how long it is. My numb hand. My hand went completely numb. Overdoing it. So this is 5 inches, or for you friends across the ocean, 13 centimeters. I would much prefer, like, as much as this cable could comfortably bend, I would say, if you're gonna do this, the space of the cable in between the two jacks, ideally, would be 6 or 7 centimeters, or 2.5 inches. That's how long I would make this if I was going to custom make this cable again, just for this purpose. And also, I don't know if I would use 90 jacks. I think I would just use regular straight jack. You know what I mean? So that's the one cable method. And I wanted to mention this information I got on the NuX MG30 forum. I did not come up with this. Someone else, and I do not remember the person who shared it. It wasn't the main NuX MG30 forum. When I asked the question there, people gave me a lot of different answers, but none of them were this one. And this is for me, it was the option that I chose. So that being said, there's all kinds of videos up for the MG30. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. There's a guy, the pedal guy, his information helped me out probably, I don't want to say the most, but he did help me out initially when I got my MG30. So if I'm going to recommend anybody, no, I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to be making MG30 videos and tell you how to do everything. When I feel like it, maybe I will. But I made this video today because a guy in the forum asked how to do it, and I figured I would take a minute. Recently, there's been some accusations that I never have anything positive to add, and I've spent some. Do you remember that night I spent 5 hours typing up everything you need to do to set the MG30 up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody deleted it from the forum. I don't know why you would do that to me, but I'm not popular over at the forum, and it's probably my own fault. But I do think that the MG30 is by far the best value on the market. I think it's the best sounding guitar toy I ever played through. And I do really like the device, although it's a lot more challenging than the MG300, which is the previous model, which I was using for the last couple of years. And I think that hopefully NuX will stick with it and continue to listen to what people are asking, instead of getting angry, which is what happened, what my experience was. I brought up the fact that the freeze function is unusable, and I thought that it would blow my PA speakers, and they got real mad at me about that. They got real mad at me about that. They demanded I upload a video, and I did. And then they demanded I upload further videos, so it was up many hours uploading multiple videos, and then I didn't really get a satisfactory response. They told me that I had an attitude, and that a lot of other people didn't feel the same way about the freeze function. And if you check out the work that I did, it shows a plus 18 dB boost on one of the models and a minus 15 dB boost on another. So let's do the math. Did you get 33 dBs? Because that's what I got. And after that, a lot of people were chiming in saying the freeze function is just fine, which in my mind says that they're just trying to get to me, because there's no way, if you really use that effect, if you went through and tried it on all the models, that you would think that it's okay, because none of the models present the wet sound of the freeze at like minus 3 dBs, and there's no way to adjust it. It should be adjustable with the foot pedal, you know, or it should have a mix knob on the effect. It should be set up as a block. So NuX, if you're watching, that's what I'm asking you to do. We should have the option to control the volume of the freeze and have the straight sound just independent, playing through the unit at whatever level it is. And that should be done with the expression pedal. And then we should have an option to adjust the volume difference between the dry and the wet on the freeze, or just the volume of the freeze per patch on the reverbs. You should have an additional knob available on the reverbs to adjust the freeze. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope I didn't come off as being rude, but the reality of it is I have contributed, and I've done some really long and really thorough posts and put in a lot of my own time, and I kind of don't appreciate being treated so disrespectfully over there. So I hope this video was helpful. As far as people thinking that I'm the bad guy over at the NuX forum, I assure you I'm not the bad guy. I'm not. I want the same thing everyone else does. And just because I'm pointing out issues with the NuX does not mean that I'm saying NuX is bad. I realize there's plenty of other multi-effects and plenty of other pedals on the market. I own a lot of gear. I've been doing this my whole life. I build pedals, I build amps. I've got a ton of stuff here. I've got way more stuff than I need. So the fact of the matter is, we all have our own individual paths, and this affects our needs as artists or musicians. And for me to make comments like that about another musician I'm doing so out of ignorance. And I don't mean like, oh, you're ignorant. I'm just saying you're not considering. Well, until I walk a mile in that guy's shoes, I'm not really going to understand. And my opinion is just as valid as anybody else on the forum. Just because maybe you don't like me because I've said a couple things that were ultimately true doesn't invalidate what I say. It should kind of depend on what you contribute. And I've consistently been accused of not contributing anything positive, and someone there has been deleting my helpful posts. So whoever that is, you can't delete my YouTube content. And I am a little bit upset about this because of the amount of time that I've invested. It's not a personal thing with me. I could care less because I'm happy and I've accomplished my goals. Trust me, I've recorded 10 solo discs worth of music that I think that blew my mind, and I'm making original music, and I'm making that with the person who I'm best friends with and I love more than anyone else, and that happens to be my wife. So I can't apologize for any of that, and I won't apologize for anything that I did at the forum. But I do ask that if you're one of these people who's watching this and you think I'm this horrific, terrible person, that you reconsider, okay? Reconsider, because you didn't walk in my shoes. You have no idea. And yes, my work was deleted. So, specifically, one specific post that I spent 5 hours on, which was everything I had learned in a massive post. It was actually, I had to break it up into chunks because there's a 5,000 word limit. Which I don't understand why someone would do that. One of the moderators commented, "This is a really good write-up on what you need to do." So it's kind of a shitty deal for me. All right, you guys, enough of me complaining. I hope that you stay cool. I hope that you have a wonderful and productive weekend. If you've got a pet, that you're able to pick it up and physically show it some form of affection, hug your pets for Petey. That's what I ask you to do, is just be kind to an animal today. You know, give them a treat. You know what they like. You know, especially if you have a cat. Cats are a little bit more tricky to really show an affection, because if you just go and pick them up, they don't really like that. But there's kind of a way that you can finagle your way in there and bond with them and show them some love, and that's really what it's all about for me. So hug your pets and peace.